All right, guys, I wanted to have a conversation about working your leads, about follow-up, realistic expectations here because it's too often pitched as if you make a few cold calls, you send some mail, and you get deals. And you do over time, but most of the time, this is a 2, 3, 6 month process. So here's an example, a nice deal from last year. All the deals we're going to look at are going to be closed from the past. I'm not going to show anything live right now, but got this lead in May. And clearly, it was our avatar. He'd been burned before by people who couldn't close. Follow up, lots of voicemails through June into July, right? Had to follow up already for almost 2 months here. And then we got to the point of an agreement and they're signing. And then under contract, under contract, took a little bit of time, quite a bit of follow up for them to actually sign and close the deal. There was actually a little bit of a title issue, but our title company handled it, and then we officially closed it late August. So that took 3 months, and that was a pretty quick and easy one, right? That is a realistic time frame to close a land deal. Sure, sometimes you get ones that move very quickly, but those are not the norm. Let me show a couple other examples. This one had some unique factors to it, but the concept remains. Got this lead in October of 2023. Tons of follow-up because this guy was international, all via email. We never got him on the phone. No, it wasn't a scam. We had an actual notary that we chose from, or the title company chose, that went and met this guy and got his ID and everything in France. So it took a lot of verification. But, anyways, we finally got this under contract in December, but then getting this thing closed. Oh, it's missing notes. Getting this thing closed. That's my fault. Because the employee that was doing this was gone by then, and I ended up just handling it. We didn't close this thing till mid-April of 2024, and then listed it and sold it almost immediately. So again, let's see. We got this lead in October. It took 6 months to close it. And yeah, a lot of your sellers or most of your sellers are not going to be international, but the concept remains this happens all of the time. But when you keep your marketing up, you keep your follow up going, then you end up having a consistent pipeline if you just stick with it for 6 months, right? Then it doesn't matter that it can be such a long sales cycle because you'll always have deals hitting from your prior work. And then, of course, there'll be some layered in there that move or show up and go under contract and move very quickly. One more point, kind of as a corollary to all this, I think people are way too quick to discard leads because, oh, they want market price. Well, this was a lead we got late 2023. They bought it for 200K. They wanted 50. Well, through all this follow-up and due diligence, which wasn't that much actually, this one went fairly quickly. We ended up buying it for 20,000 and it took about a month. But if you talk to that guy and look at the notes, if you had done or had this conversation, you would have thought this was a market seller. We got one under contract last week in one of the most competitive markets in Florida. They wanted 90. Didn't seem motivated, didn't seem particularly like our avatar, but we worked the lead. We made the offer. We got it at 53, and we're working to assign this one at between 81 and 85. We're waiting for the highest and best from the builders that are interested. So this just isn't taught honestly a lot of the times, and that's why I wanted to make this video. There's so many courses out there, make money in 30 days. It's not impossible, but it's highly improbable. This is a business. You need to be ready to follow up for months, for years, which many of our leads we followed up with 4 years. You need to be able to market for the long term, and you have to be ready to work all your leads because motivated sellers often hide the fact that they are motivated at the first conversation. I was at a workshop a couple weeks ago with some investors that were much more experienced than myself, multiple decades in the business, direct to seller marketing. And that was something that really stood out to me. They said, we get motivated sellers all the time, but it's hard to know it on that first phone call. Of course, you can refine your script and your sales techniques and get better and better. But nonetheless, even people that have been in the business for decades are saying that. So work all of your leads and follow up, follow up, follow up, and you'll get deals. And that is all I wanted to say.